So yesterday we saw actually how to work on with actually variables. So we have three types of actually variables: a local, and then in global two types. One is static, another one is non-static.
Yes.
So it's a known thing. Local variables can be referred with the help of variable name.
Variable name and global variable, and by using a static pool, it refers by class name.
Yes.
And by using, if it is an object, global variable are done by using object, and it is stored in object. The space where we are storing this, what we can tell that static pool, that local memory.
Yes.
It's all kind of memory, right?
Correct. All kind of a memory.
Okay, fine.
So the thing is, global members, we have one is static, another one is non-static. So static members will be loaded into the static pool.
Yeah.
Standard practice to refer them with help of class name.
Okay.
Then non-static members will be stored under the heap memory. So it's like actually we will be referring the non-static members with help of the object.
Okay. What is my heap memory?
So there are different memories over there in the system whenever we are going to execute the program. So in that, one type of memory is a heap memory. Okay. So static members still can be referred with help of object name and also by the variable name also. But standard practice, always we should refer them with help of the class
variable name.
No, class name. That's the name.
Class name. Okay.
Good. So today we're going to start with functions. So we'll see how to use functions and then what is the necessity. So let me.
Do you have yesterday's recording?
I have forwarded to you yesterday.
Okay, I need to in Gmail.
So this is your Gmail, right? Just give me a minute. This is your mail ID, right?
Yeah. What is your name actually? It's Murali or Srinivas?
No, Murali.
Okay.
Sure. So let me create a package. Then wait this.
Every package should be that inherited something that you selected the third option, right?
So while creating a package or while creating a class?
While creating a package, class.
Yeah. Inherited abstract
method. Yeah.
Yes. So abstract methods are methods which will have actually complete and then incomplete methods both. So you'll come to know.
It have only the functional. It have only the implementation part, right? Or else the implementation part will be saved in some other. Okay, you tell me later.
So yeah.
What I'm asking is it a mandatory thing to choose this option?
By default, it's better always go with the same.
Okay.
That's the main thing. So it's like actually by default all the classes will be inherited to actually object class. Object is the supermost class of all the classes in Java.
Okay.
Which will be inherited. So that's what here we are doing it. Okay. So now I have created a class. Here I will have a function called main. So for that I'll just type main control space enter. It gives me public static void main. Super. Okay. So here right now I'm just going to print Monday. So I have this. I'm just going to, in between I have some set of statements. So this is what I have. So right now, right click, run as Java application. The same information, whatever I have written, I'm going to utilize right now here. So now the problem began here is what means, in case I just need to do some change. So here I need to make it as Wednesday, Thursday properly. So now what I need to do, I need to go and change everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere, wherever I have utilized, I need to go explicitly and then I need to change it, which is a hectic task. So here I have used in these places everything in the same file. So it's easy for me to do. But in real-time situation, we will be using different files where I'll be using in a different place. So going there and then changing in all the places is an hectic task for me. I might miss out lot of places actually where it needs to be changed. That is a big challenge.
Okay.
Another one, it looks clumsy. So right now it's just 7 lines of statements which has been repeated for actually some 6 to 7 times. In real time situation, usually it will be 200 to 300 lines of code which will be repeated for 10 times. That means what, totally it comes for totally 3000 lines of code here. So when we have n number of lines of code, obviously the performance will be decreased here. That's a big challenge here. So that's why what we will do, we always try to make sure have it as a method, then you can call the method wherever it is needed. Okay, that is a big thing. Advantage is what means two things. One, organizing the code is easier. Okay, any changes you want to do, you go and change only in that specific method level alone. And one more thing, performance actually what will be increased because we are not going to have n number of code lines there. That is one. Then the other one is what means, that is code level actually what, if you see, it will be in a very decent way written. Okay. See functions usage. They are the same thing. So how to write a method? So simple. Void method 1. This is how we can write a method. Method 1 is my method name. Always the method should be followed with actually what, the parenthesis. Method should be followed with parenthesis.
Okay.
Then the void is a return type here. So what does that void here means? Is a return type where I don't want to return any value. See here, SIB method 1 I will print. Then I can have a return statement here, but I cannot return any value. So it is not mandatory for me to use return statement whenever my return type is void.
Okay.
So how to call this method? So simple. As like actually what, variables, methods level also, it can be static or it can be non-static. When we have a keyword called static, it's a static method.
Okay.
If we don't have a keyword, it's a non-static method. So as usual, static methods will be referred with the help of a class name. SIB program starts. SIB program ends. Function usage dot method 1. Right click, run as Java application. Program starts. always the main function starts to execute first because it loads into the static pool. It's a default executable function. Other methods are like we need to call them explicitly. Okay, this main is the only one function which will be called by the JVM explicitly. Okay, so we no need to call the main function, it will be called by the JVM. Then after that I'm calling this method. First program starts. Yeah.
In between the system out.println, you're calling the function usage.method1. Then how it is printing program start also wherever we can.
That's right. Because by default, actually, what always main function will be executed.
Yeah. Okay.
So first program starts, then I'm calling the method. Then it goes and calls.
Okay. This method one is printing.
Yes.
Then programming. Okay. Fine.
Correct. Then we are returning. So it returns here, and finally program ends. I can also return a value. So instead of void, if I mention it as integer, that means here when I call the method, it will execute the method, finally return an integer value. Okay. See, right click, run as Java application. Now actually what if I put this information inside a system.out.println? Can you see? After executing the method, this method, it returns actually what? The 10. That 10 will come over here. Okay. That will be printed. See? Got it? First program starts, then it calls the method, executes the method, method1, and finally returns the value 10. That 10 comes over here. Then finally it prints that 10, and finally program ends. Got it?
Yeah. Okay.
Same thing if it is Boolean. Can you tell me what I need to do?
True or false?
Yes, I can pass true or false. If it is a string, I should pass a string value. So this is what return types. If it is a void, I cannot return any value. So I should not return anything. It should be like this. And here we are not returning anything. That means can I have it under system.println? No, we cannot have it system.println because there is nothing to print over there.
Yeah.
So we cannot return.
What is the syntax of declaring a method?
That's what. This is the syntax for declaring.
The static is the
void method one. This is how we declare a method. Okay, right?
Okay.
This is how to declare a method. So it can be static or it can be non-static. That's a keyword actually, but where in which memory it should be stored, static pool memory or a heap memory. That's
static, non-static is a return type, right?
No.
Or
void is a return type.
Void is a return type. Okay.
Here, if I mention this integer, I need to return integer value. Integer.
The static.
That's what. This keyword decides where this methods has to be saved, either into the static pool.
Okay, static is a keyword.
Is a keyword.
Static correct. Is a keyword and int is a return type and this is a method name.
Yes, correct.
I'm asking the syntax. Okay.
Correct.
All the methods should be in this format only.
Yes, correct. Super. Okay, right?
Yeah.
So next, so here I'm returning the value. I can also capture it in an integer variable also. It's as simple as integer a is equal to 10. Got it? That is, I'm calling this method, it executes the method and finally returns the value 10. That method comes over here. Then after that, if I want, I can print the value. Got it?
Yeah. How the system knows?
How the system knows means?
How the system knows the... One second.
Yeah.
Hello.
Email.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Sure.
Yeah.
Notice. So now actually what we have seen how to actually execute the methods, all those things. So I can also capture it in a variable, then I can also print that value inside the variable. Okay, that's what we can do. So if it's a string, I will pass a string value. Then the return value will be a string. So I need to mention it over there under a, store it under a string variable, string A. That's a only one change.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
So this is how we can use actually functions with return type. So now here we have this actually Monday to Sunday. So this one I can have it over there under a method. This one as of now I'll have it as void. So I don't want to return anything here. I just want to print that information. So I'll just copy this entire thing. Then after that we will do the changes. So now yes, you see Monday to Sunday it's printing here. Then after that here I want to print. So it's a static method. I can just call them by function usage dot method one. Then again in this place also actually function usage dot method one. Everywhere wherever it's needed, I'm gonna change it. This is how we need to do the changes. So right click, run as Java application. It still gives me the same. So now organizing also is easier. So in case if I want to do a change or I need to add some statements or I need to remove some statements, I can do it here. So here if I want to add one extra statement, SISO this day. I just need to add some statement or remove something, whatever it is there. I can do only in one place where it reflects in all the places wherever the method has been called. Got it? Everywhere it reflects. That's advantage.
Okay.
Got it? So this is how we will use methods over there. In real-time world, always methods are so easier to organize the entire structure of the program. Got it?
Yeah.
So this is I'll rename it functions. Okay, let it be like this. So we have seen about functions with return types. The next thing we will see functions with arguments. So how to use functions with arguments? So simple. Right now you can see I have my method void method 1. So here it's going to print SISO method 1. A method which does not have an argument, it's called as a default method. A method which does not have an argument, it's called as a default method. Okay, so here I'm going to have another method. So here I will have void method 1. So I'm going to have a same method name. Okay, can I have it? It gives me as a duplicate. If I change the return type, say integer, then if I change it over there, return 10, still it does not change. Okay, so what is the way actually what I can do the changes means if I just have an argument, these two methods will be differed. I can have a same method name, but I can differ them with help of arguments. So integer argument method. I can differ a method with help of arguments. It can be the number of arguments or it can be based on the type of argument. See, double A comma integer B. So first one is integer, next is double. Now first one is double, next one is integer. Like that I can differ them. This is integer argument, and this is integer and double argument method. This is double and integer argument method. This is Boolean. This is string argument. These arguments will be the local variable for this methods. Okay, so if I want to refer them, always local variables will be referred with the help of the variable name alone. See, plus A. Yeah, plus A. Give like this. Instead of this, I will do like this. Plus here I will give this is A. Plus B. Got it? Integer, what is the value, and double, what is the value argument method I'm giving. Okay, the same thing. I will paste it here. This is double integer. This is how we can use that. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay. So now how to call these methods? Okay. Just give me a minute.
Okay.
Hello. Hey, hi, Meena. Sorry. We'll continue. So now we have actually what these methods as arguments. How to call these methods? That's what we're going to see. The first we will call this method. Everything right now is a non-static. So non-static methods, if I want, I need to call them with the help of the objects. Correct? Here I'll have function arguments. obj1 is equal to new function arguments. So I'm creating an object for this class. The new function with arguments will help me to create the memory location. Okay. The name of the object is obj1. Then the functions with arguments is the reference for it. That is actually what reference means. What? That's my class name. That means load only the global members of this functions with arguments class. Okay. It can be static. It can be non-static. It can be actually what? A method or a variable. It can be anything. Got it? So now we will call the method one by one. First, I'm going to call this method. So obj1 dot. Now you can see I'm getting actually what? Method one here, which is a default method. Next is Boolean accepting argument, integer accepting argument, string, double and int, integer and double. Okay. So these all comes from which class? Functions with argument. Can you see?
Yeah.
Then these are all some other actually what methods which is coming from the supermost class, which is the object class. Okay, this is every methods. Whenever we are creating an object for that, it also inherits actually what the methods from the super class, that is the object class. That's the one. Okay.
Okay. For functions and objects, both, what are all the things we are initialize memory location is needed, we must use a keyword new.
No, whenever we want to create an object for that class, then we have to use the keyword new. Okay, right?
Okay.
Whenever we create an object for the class, we also actually what gets the properties from the supermost class, which is the object. Okay. So now method 1. Then next method 1 of integer a. obj1 dot method 1 of integer a. So now I'm going to pass an integer value. So if it's an integer value, it goes and calls me the integer argument method. If it's actually what a boolean, it goes and calls me the boolean argument method. Okay. So first let me execute these two. First program starts. I'm creating an object obj1 dot method 1. Now what happens? It goes and calls me the default method. Then obj1 dot method 1 of 10. Now it goes and calls me the integer argument method. Integer argument method plus a. What is the a value that will be I'm passing? 10. That 10 comes over here. Got it? Then finally program ends. Same thing next boolean. So that means here I need to pass true. That means now what will happen? First the default method. The second one is the boolean argument method. Clear?
Yeah. Okay.
You understood? So how to use actually what? Return types in a method, and then how to use arguments. That's what we have seen so far.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Any questions so far for you?
No.
Clear, right?
Yeah, I'm clear.
Good. So we will see actually what the memory allocation part later. So next actually what we'll have a break for 5 minutes. Then we will go with actually what constructors and static and non-static block.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll see that. Then after that we'll see the memory allocation parts for everything.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Good.
42. What's the time?
37, 42 we will again connect.
Okay. Sure.
A 5 minutes break.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah.
We'll continue.
Yeah.
So next we are going to see for the constructors. So what's a constructor, and then why we need to use it, how to use it? That's what we're going to see right now. So constructors, if you see right now, here in methods we saw we have return types and then a methods which has an argument. So in constructors we don't have any return types, but we have actually what accepting. We have constructors which is accepts arguments here. So how the constructors will be written? The constructor name will be always same as my class name. This is how a constructor will be written. Default constructor. Okay, constructor. So default constructor. So a method, sorry, a constructor which does not have an argument is called as a default constructor. The same variety, the constructor which has accepts an argument is called as an integer argument constructor. Same as like methods, constructors also differs based on the number of arguments or based on the type of arguments. Integer and double argument constructor. So the same thing actually what here also actually plus a, then the double argument, okay. So integer and double argument constructor over there. Same I have there's this double integer. So this is how. So default constructor integer. So same as if I want to call the constructor over there, I need to create an object here. Okay. So in methods, we used to call them via method names, but here we used to create the object. Whenever we create the object, that time the constructors will be called. Program ends. See now how to create an object. New constructor usage. Got it. So now constructor usage obj1 equal to. So now am I passing any argument here? No. So now what happened? It calls the default constructor. Yes, correct. See, program starts. Then I'm creating an object. So here it's not accepting any argument. So now it will call the default constructor. Then after that actually what comes here? Program ends. If I pass
int a,
now what will be the output?
That construct int argument constructor.
Correct. Program starts.
Int argument constructor and program ends.
Yes, that's it. Program starts integer argument constructor. That's it. This is how it works. If I want to call another constructor, so back to main. Here I'm passing 20.30 comma 10. That means what? It's going to call
double and int.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Right click, run as Java application. The only thing is calling program starts. Then first thing is integer argument
constructor and double int.
Correct. For this double, and then the value for a is what? It's a local variable. So 20.30 is what I passed. Then integer b, so that is b value is what? 10 I passed. So integer 10 argument constructor.
Okay.
Then finally program ends.
The variable which is used inside the one method alone, it is known as local variable, right?
Come again, the variable?
Which is used only inside the particular method.
Yeah, these things.
Yeah.
These are all local variables only for this constructor alone.
Constructor, okay.
That's it. Okay, right?
Yeah.
So next. So here we got to know that when we have actually what? A constructor. So it can be called only whenever we create an object. Okay. So the same thing next is static and then non-static blocks. So it is called a static initialization block and then non-static initialization block. Okay. So SIB and IIB. IIB is non-static initialization block. So how these can be used? Program starts, program ends. So what is a block means? Okay, anything which starts with a flower base and then ends with a flower base is called as a block. Okay, so here if we have a keyword called static, it's called as a static block. So SIB 1. I can have multiple static blocks. SIB 1 and 2 and 3. Then I can also have multiple non-static blocks also. So any block which does not have a keyword called static, it's called as a non-static block. That's it. So here I'll just mention it in this way.
The block means
yes, tell me.
What's the purpose of block? In that we have any logical thing?
Correct. That's what. So here anything comes with actually what? A flower base, opens a flower base and then called as a block. Okay. So if you have a keyword called actually what? Static is a static initialization block. If you don't have any keyword, it's called as a non-static initialization block.
Okay. How we can able to identify the difference between the two blocks?
Correct. That's what. Here the block has been completed, right? It starts and finishes it.
Yeah, by brace it is okay. It's a short program, so we can able to identify it. If you are using in each and every block we have a multiple logics, right?
Correct.
That is the purpose of logic, no?
Correct.
That is the purpose of block, right?
That's what. Anything, a block cannot be written inside another block. Everything will be like a separate blocks. So obviously we will be able to identify it easily.
Okay, the block, in specific each and every block, there is not necessary to keep a name or.
No, that's what. So if you want to keep a name and all those things, you have to make it as a method.
Okay, what's the difference between method and block?
Yes, correct. So now we will see that. Okay. So now if you see, when I execute this program, see now, right click, run as Java application. Now you can see all the static blocks. Before executing my main function, the static blocks are being executed, SIB 1, 2, and 3.
Yes.
In the sequential order. Then my main function starts to execute. That is, static blocks can be executed only once in my entire program. That is beginning of my program execution. You cannot execute them multiple times. That's the main thing here. Clear?
Okay.
Then the next thing, non-static blocks. So always non-static members, how we can access? It's a non-static variable, or if it's a non-static method, how you can access them?
By using object.
Correct. Same thing. Non-static blocks also you can access only whenever we create an object for it.
Okay.
New SIB. See now, right click, run as Java application. See, IIB1, IIB2, IIB3.
Okay.
First, static blocks will be executed by default because everything loads into the static pool. Correct?
Yeah.
So, static block will take the highest priority. So first, those static blocks will be executed first. Then only my main function. Then inside the main function, I'm trying to create an object. Whenever we create the object, the non-static blocks will be executed.
Okay, if we give a non-static block at top and static down, and we are creating an object here,
yes,
how it will execute?
Still, the execution will be same. This is what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Still, the execution will be same for us. Because when we are making it as a block, everything will be treated as a separate information. Okay, right?
Okay.
So here, if I create one more object, I'm creating another object. Okay. See now. Once again, the non-static blocks will be executed.
Yes.
Okay.
But the static is only one time.
Yes, only once. Now I'm going to have some constructors also here. See. So it's a default constructor. Then the next is, this is an integer argument constructor. This is a double argument constructor. Next is an integer double argument constructor. Got it? This is a default constructor, integer argument, double argument, integer and double argument constructor. Got it? So now, how these constructors will be called? Based on actually what the arguments I pass. If I pass an integer value, now what will happen? That integer argument constructor will be called. So now, whenever we create an object, non-static blocks also will be called, and then my constructors also will be called. But which will be called first? Non-static blocks are being called first, then my default constructor, then back to main. Then again the non-static blocks are called, then the integer argument constructor. That means always non-static blocks will take the highest priority, and then the constructors will be called based on the argument level. Any point of time you create an object with an argument or without an argument, non-static blocks are always called. That means what I'm trying to say here means static blocks actually what you will have set of code statements where you have some set of information that need to be executed mandatory before the execution of any program. That time you can have actually what informations in the static block. So usually we don't use it in our Selenium, these both, that is used in the development world. So informations which all they need to get executes before their program execution, they will keep it over there in the static initialization block.
Okay.
Then they have some set of statements always need to be executed whenever they create the object. That time they will have it under the non-static blocks. Okay, so based on actually what the argument passage, if I pass actually what some value, based on that it needs to execute some set of statements, they will keep it over there under the constructor. Okay, any point of time non-static blocks only will be executed. It is mandated that you have to execute some set of statements, you put it over there in the non-static blocks. Otherwise actually what things we have to go it in a way actually what it's like you keep it in the constructor level based on argument passage that will be executed.
Okay.
Any questions so far?
No.
Good. So now we have seen
Yeah.
actually, yeah.
One second, please. I understand what is separately, what is method, what is a function and what is a block.
Yes.
And the main purpose of the static block is, as you said, the thing which we want to execute before the program, we are putting that in static.
Correct.
What is the main, why we are going for block instead of function here, and what's the difference between it? It's
that's
the
right.
same.
So the thing is actually what function, right? So before the function itself, I want some set of statements. Usually the initialization informations, all those things, they will keep it over there under the static initialization blocks.
Static.
Correct. Globally, they will have the static members, and then the initialization, they will give it over there under the static blocks over there. That's how they used to do. So non-static blocks level over there, they have some set of statements during the object creation they have to use. They have to actually put it over in the non-static blocks. Mandatory execution of it. Those things we will put it over here. Okay.
Okay.
So based on argument level passage over there, we will put it over there under the constructors. Understood? Any questions?
Yeah. No.
Good. So now we will see actually how the execution of everything it works. So we have to see that. Okay. So we'll have a short break for 5 minutes again. Then we will see actually the the program execution, how the memory allocates for everything. That we will see.
Okay.
Good. So 11:06 we will again connect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. Hey, hi Meena. Shall we start the session?
We can.
Good. So now we will have here. We'll see the execution of this part now. So we'll execute this part. So whenever we execute the program, always a memory location will be created for it. And then the memory location name will be my class name with some hexadecimal number. Okay. The first memory which will be created will be my static pool. Then after that, all the static members will be loaded. So we have these 3 static blocks. Then after that, my main function. These are the 3 things. So the first memory, actually what? Static blocks will be executed one by one. So it creates a memory for me. SIB1, a local memory for SIB1. Memory for SIB1 will be created, which is this. Then after that, SIB1 will be printed for me here. Then next, a local memory for the SIB2. Then the next is local memory for the SIB3. This is 2. This is 3. So it prints me SIB2, and then after that SIB3. So when the first block SIB1 has been executed, it deletes the memory of the SIB1. Then the second memory will be created. Then after execution, it deletes. Then the third memory, after execution, it deletes over there. That's what it will be done. Then next, actually what? My main function starts to execute. A local memory for the main. Local memory for main. It starts to execute. Then next, actually what? Program starts. Then after that, actually what? I'm creating a new object here. A new object is created, which is obj1. So now actually what, when the new object is created, it loads all the global members. So I already told you static members will have a single copy. It loads from the static pool always. Then after that, actually what, any other static members we have apart from this? So these 3 things, static pool, static blocks will not be loaded, but only the main function will be loaded, and then any other variables or methods. But right now we don't have apart from the main function. Then after the non-static members, if you see over here, so right now, are we passing any argument here? No. So that means the constructor which matches is what? This one, a default constructor. Then my 3 non-static blocks, so which is IIB1, IIB2, IIB3. 3 non-static blocks will be loaded. Apart from that, do we have any other non-static members? That's it. Okay, so I have only one static member, which is the main function, then 3 non-static blocks, and then the constructor which matches with the argument. So because right now I have 4 constructors, the only one constructor which does not have an argument is this one. Only that alone will be loaded. Then as usual, as per priority, the non-static blocks will execute first. Okay, so the non-static blocks will execute first for me. Local memory for the IIB1. Okay, then it executes me IIB1. Then next, actually what? The memory gets deleted by the garbage collector. Then next again, IIB2. So again, it creates a local memory for the IIB2. Then next, actually what? It prints IIB2. Then the same thing. Deletes the memory. Then again, for the IIB3, it creates a memory and then it deletes the memory. Got it? Then after that, actually what? Once all the non-static blocks have been executed, then after that the static block. Okay, so here the local memory for the SIB IIB gets created. So here right now, actually what? Am I passing any argument? No. So it goes and executes this default constructor. Then after the execution, deletes the memory. Then after that, back to main. Control again comes over to the main function. Then next, actually what? I'm creating another block. Here I'm passing actually what? An integer argument. So that means the integer argument constructor will be executed along with all the non-static blocks. A new object has been created now, which is obj2. Then once the object is created, my main function starts to execute. So main function always main functions loads into the memory, because all the static members will be loaded and then non-static members. Static members will have a single copy, so it loads from the static pool. Then my 3 non-static blocks. So IIB1, IIB2, IIB3. I'm just copy pasting from here itself. Then my matching constructor. So now I'm passing an integer value 10, so it matches SIB IIB integer A for this. Then all my 3 non-static blocks will get executes. So it creates a memory for that. I'm just copy pasting instead of using it. Then the third one. So these 3 things gets loaded. So as usual, it prints IIB1, IIB2, IIB3 for the 3 execution of my. So I'll just put it over here. Then after that, actually what? The matching constructor. So now I'm passing an integer value. So for that is SIB of integer E. So the integer A is a local variable for this non-static blocks. So the value of A will be what? Right now I'm passing 10. So that will be 10 here. Will be the value. Okay. So then it prints me integer argument constructor. But I'm not utilizing the value. I'm just printing alone. Got it? Then after that, control comes over here and prints me program ends. Got it? Any questions so far? Any questions so far, Meena? You're clear? Then after the execution?
Yes.
Clear, right? So
yeah,
it's the memory. Then comes out of the main function, deletes the main memory, comes out of the entire program, deletes the complete memory by the garbage collector.
At final stage only the memory, main memory will be deleted.
Correct. That's what. Actually, once after the execution of this main function, the same thing. Blocks also everything. Once they are executed, then only that memory is deleted, right? Same thing. Yeah.
After completing each block, the memory will be deleted.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. Each and every block, once it's been deleted, then actually what the memory gets deleted for it.
Okay.
Clear, right?
Yeah.
So next thing, so we have seen actually what how the memory of the constructors and then the static non-static blocks is being created. Memory has been created. We have seen. The next thing we are going to see how actually what the memory of the methods will be utilized. So here we'll see. So this itself actually what I'll just make it in a way. This accepts integer. So I need to return 10. This I'll make it as Boolean. So when I call this method, I need to pass a Boolean value. So return true. So when I call this method integer a, so the third one, I'm calling this method over there. So I need to pass an integer value. So obj1 dot method 1 of integer a, I'll pass 100. Then here I will capture it in a variable integer a is equal to, okay, or integer j is equal to any variable I can use the name for it. Then after that I'm just printing it so j. Then after that actually what I'll call this double an integer argument method obj1 dot method 1 double integer, so 20.40 comma 10. That returns a Boolean value. So I'm capturing it in a Boolean value. Boolean k is equal to. Then I'm just printing sizzle k. That's it. Clear? So now let me execute this program. Now we'll execute this method. Let me execute this program. So when I execute, so the name of the first a memory location created, the memory name will be my class name with some hexadecimal number. The first memory which will be created will be my static pool. So what are the static members we have here? So only main function is the only static member we have here.
Yes.
Public static void main string arguments. Then as usual, the main function starts to execute. So when it starts to execute, a local memory for main has been given. Then after that, main function starts to execute. So it gives me the output program starts first. Then I'm creating an object. So when we create the object, what will happen? A memory has been created. So obj1 is the memory location name. Okay.
Okay.
Then next, actually, what right now for me, the memory has been created, loads all the global members. So always static members will be having a single copy. So loads from my static pool. Clear? Then after that, all the non-static members. So we have void method 1. Then we have integer method 1 of integer a. Then void method 1 of integer and double. Then boolean method 1 of double and integer. Void method 1 of boolean. Then void method 1 of string. So it loads all these methods. Okay. So then obj1 dot method 1. Am I passing any argument here?
No.
No. So it calls the void method 1. It creates a memory for it. So then it prints default method 1.
For object, for method, everything it will create a separate memory location.
Correct.
Commonly for static pool and local memory for main method will be created in common for all the programs.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then the next is actually what? Once the method has been executed, it deletes the memory. By whom? Garbage collector.
Okay.
Then next actually what? obj1 dot method 1 of true. So that means I'm passing actually what? A boolean argument. Okay. The name of the method is method 1. Goes to the object. Do we have any method 1 which accepts boolean argument?
Yes.
Yes. So it takes that. The return type actually what it is? Void. Void means can I return any value?
No.
No, we cannot return. So here the boolean actually what? A, it's a local variable for this method, correct? Boolean A. Then the value which I passed over here, it is true. So it stores over there in the base. Got it?
Okay.
Then after that actually what? So once we got this one, so now what happened? It calls this method over here and prints boolean argument method 1. Then a space, then A. So A is a local variable. So comes to the local memory here. Do we have A variable? Yes, the value is true. Clear, right?
Yeah.
Then once after the execution, deletes the memory. Then next again, obj integer j is equal to. So I'm creating a local variable where inside the main function.
Okay.
Integer j is equal to, then obj1 dot method
100.
So that means I'm passing an
Integer.
So do we have any method
Method 1.
Yes, we have integer method 1 of integer a. So here creates a new memory. So here the integer a, this is a local memory for this method 1. What is the value I'm passing here?
100.
100. So 100 stores over here. So now it executes. So sorry. So we accepted this integer argument. So it prints me integer argument method 1. Then a. So do we have any local variable called a in this method?
Yeah,
yes.
100.
100. Then after that, actually what? I'm returning 10 because the return type is an integer. So that 10, now where it comes and stores into the j variable. So the j is a local variable for the main function. It stores there.
Okay.
Okay. Then system.println j. So now I'm there in the main function. Do we have any local variable called j in the main function?
Yes.
In this local memory we have value is 10. And before that, this memory also should be deleted by the garbage collector. Okay, right?
Okay.
Then Boolean k is equal to, so again a local variable created for the main function because we are inside the main function. Then obj1 dot method 1 of 20.40 comma 10, that is a double and integer value. Double and integer argument. Do we have anything? Yes, we have. A memory.
We can have same method name with different arguments in a same program, right?
Correct. Based on the arguments, the methods will be different.
But the arguments and method name will not be same.
Yes, correct. So if I cannot have again a same method name method 1 which accepts double and integer, this becomes as a duplicate.
Yes.
Okay, right?
Oh yeah. Okay.
So double a and integer b. So I'm passing for the a variable 20.40 and then for the b 10. Then after that it executes here. So double, it prints actually what? Double. Then my a value is what? Right now for the a value 20.40. Then a space and integer. Then the b variable. So the b value is what? 10. Then after that argument method 1. Right? Understood? So then comes out of the method, then the memory will be deleted. By whom? The garbage collector. Then after that, actually what I'm returning true also here. So that true will comes and stores over there under the k variable here. Okay. Then I'm printing the k value. The k value will be true. Then after that program ends. Clear? Any questions so far?
No.
So this is how a memory will be allocated for the functions, constructors, and static and non-static blocks.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, okay.
Great. So still how much time you have, Meena?
12:30 I can able to be there.
Is it? Okay.
12:15
So no worries. Today we can close with this.
Is it okay? It is okay. Tomorrow I need to continue my class, right? So
yes. So today we will finish this. So the next thing is actually what we have to see about actually what the logic building. So how to print sum of 5 numbers, and then the loops, all those things around we have to see.
Okay, fine.
You're familiar with the loops, for loops, and all those things.
For loop like that you're asking?
Yes.
Yeah, somewhat I know.
Cool, no worries. So anyway, actually, what tomorrow evening also actually what we can have we'll have a backup class over there.
Okay.
So I told you, right? The next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday we'll have you will have morning one class, the regular session, and then
coming Monday or
this coming Monday, that is
tomorrow. Yeah, okay. Tomorrow morning 7:30 to 8:30 I'm having a class, right?
Regular session.
Okay.
Then
backup session time.
Backup session again we will have by evening 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock.
Okay, sure, fine.
Okay, so that for the next, that is loops we have to see. Then after that the get the sum of 5 numbers, like those logic building alone we will see that. Okay. Good.
And tomorrow class what we will be seeing?
Tomorrow we will be seeing the logic building over there in the morning sessions a little bit. So you attend it. No worries. Anyway, backup session we have, right? So in that you will understand it clearly. Okay. Okay, fine. Good. Okay. Thank you. Bye bye. See you. Bye.